What is your name and what do you collect?
My name is Cyndi Ford and I collect movies.
What inspired you to start collecting movies? Could you share your journey from the very beginning?
What inspired me to collect movies? I think it is the joy of the stories and the different genres that are out there that you can immerse yourself in and find a fantasy world that you never be a part of. When did I start? Well, of course, I started not so much collecting movies, but watching movies when I was little, and we would go to the theater. We would also go to a drive-in theater as a family, and we would sit in the back of the cars watching the big screen and eating popcorn and going to the theaters in town and having our freezing because the AC was new and it was too cold, and having our popcorn there too. At that time, you couldn't collect movies. There was no means of recording them or producing them. As I got older and internet came about when I was in, I guess, in high school. Well, maybe not earlier than high school. It first came about in elementary school when the internet came out, but of course it wasn't anything like the internet. And then cable came out, and it took us a long time to get cable. And when we did, they started showing movies on there. And we used to find a good movie and then we would record them. So this is the first recording of movies on a VCR tape. And like on this one here, I have Ride the Wild Surf, North Shore, and Karate Kid 1. So as you can tell, you can see how old it is. It does still work. I do still have a video machine that can run this. And so that's how I used to collect them. And then when I was stressed out, done with my homework, 3 o'clock in the morning, stick in one of these in the machine and just fall asleep to them. I guess that's where I began with movies.
Can you highlight one or two items from your collection that hold significant sentimental value and share the stories or memories associated with them?
Yeah, I have lots of memories from watching these movies over the years, over the decades. But one of my very first ones, and one of my still favorite movies, is this movie from Disney, Bambi. The reason being it is so significant to me is because this was one of the first movies I actually watched in the theater with my family. I can still remember the awe of going into this big, huge, fancy theater in town and sitting on my father's lap, cuddled up with him, and laughing with Thumper and all the weird things he would do in the movie and being Twitter-pated. But then I also remember tears in my eyes when Bambi's mom got shot. So for a tiny little kid, it was definitely a roller coaster ride of a movie in a theater with my family. Another one is the Peanuts gang. I grew up with Peanuts in the newspaper. We used to watch them on television. We also used to see them in the newspapers for the Sunday funnies, we called them. And every year at Halloween, the Great Pumpkin would come out, and it still does. Even though it did go away for quite a while on television, they started bringing them all back out again. So the Peanuts movies were always fun to watch. This one, the Christmas one, and one of my more recent favorites is another Disney one, Snow White. Only the basic reason is that this is my daughter's favorite movie as a child. I don't know how many times we've watched Snow White. In fact, I think I end up having somewhere around here a digital version of Snow White so we could take it in the car with us. That's how much she loved it. So those are some of my favorite ones here. There's other action ones in here, but I think my happy ever after endings are my favorites of my movies.
How has your collection evolved over the years, and what are your future plans for it?
Well, like I had said before, when I was younger, you couldn't record movies. You couldn't collect them because there was no really means to do that. We did have reel-to-reel, but it was very expensive. My father used to have a big box that had the reel-to-reels that you could put on that. But we really didn't spend the time recording things, recording children. So I started doing the movies with the videos, where you could record movies on these, and if you didn't like them, you could record over top of them as many times until the tape wore out. And somewhere in here, I even have a tape of music videos from MTV. Of course, that was when they still did music videos. From there, we went and we started recording things on disc. And of course, you had to be careful with these. They didn't necessarily come out the greatest. I wonder why. And then from there, of course, then we went to regular DVDs. And from regular DVDs, we went to Blu-rays and digitals. And I like the Blu-rays and digitals because I can have the digital version to save my discs so that my discs don't get scratched or I would have to go and replace them. But at the same time, for long car rides, I like to have the discs present so that we don't have to worry about the internet. What are my plans for these? To continue watching them. I have many different genres in here to share with my family and my friends, from scary ones like Beetlejuice to workout videos to educational, National Geographic. It would just depend on our mood. And now we also have a video projector and a movie screen, so we can watch them outside when the weather is nice and have fun that way. So I guess that is everything as far as my journey with the movies over my decades of collecting. So I'll see you at the movies.
Boo.